What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now kick back, relax, and come take a ride with me. We just learned that South Carolina head women's basketball coach Dawn Staley has been named SEC Coach of the Year for the 7th time. And what an honor it is. And it's looking like she's going to be a runaway with Coach of the Year as well, as South Carolina sits undefeated at 29-0 on the year. Heading into SEC play is the number 1 overall seed and possibly the number 1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament. The team has been phenomenal this year. South Carolina has been phenomenal since Dawn took over this program. And Coach Dawn Staley has just been remarkable. She's built a culture, and she has left, and she continues to have a heavy impact on the game of women's basketball in general. But before we get into all that and dissect it, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest, and join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
This year, we've really seen Coach Staley let this team play, run young, wild, and free out there. They're having fun. It's been structured, but it's been a mission, and she's talked about this as well. It feels like a revenge tour. It feels like this group has something to prove, and we saw it last year, back-to-back undefeated regular seasons, but this year's team's got a different type of hunger that last year's team didn't. No disrespect. And we heard from Coach Dawn Staley about giving her players flowers, but keeping that balance as well, because they know they have not reached their final destination.
The team really surprises me every day. Every time that we play a game, they have something about them, a competitiveness in them that they don't want to lose, and they find ways to win no matter how teams are approaching us, no matter how the game mucks up or how the game is smooth, or they find a way to win basketball games, and that's a sign of a really good team. I'm not gonna say that we're not a good basketball. We're a really good basketball team when we are playing like we played today, locking up defensively and then sharing the basketball offensively and making sure that the right people are taking the best shot on the floor. And that's a challenge. It's a challenge every day because we haven't lost a game, and our players are thinking that this is the way it is. And it really isn't, because the competition gets better and better as we approach postseason. So we want to give our players their flowers, but we also know that there's work to do.
Coach Dawn Staley already one of the best to do it. She's already getting into those GOAT conversations, man. Like, her record's becoming undeniable. She's competing for national championships. She's winning national championships. They look like a lock this year. The group is beating teams by over 32 points per game. They had some weaknesses last year shooting the ball from deep. Coach Dawn Staley went out, got Tahina Powell. Raven Johnson put in work. Bree Hall has an extended role. She has really stepped up, and they turn a weakness into a strength. But the post didn't lose anything. She's done so well of recruiting, stacking these recruiting classes, and having players that wait their turn, like Ashlyn Watkins, like a Camila Cardoso, like a Bree Hall, players that were, the number 1 option in high school coming in, and they've waited their time, they have produced when they were counted on, whenever their number's called, and it's a culture thing at this point. It's big culture in South Carolina where they have all the players bought into this system where, you're not guaranteed to, win any Freshman of the Year awards, as we've heard from Bree Hall's parents, but Coach Dawn Staley's going to get you where you need to be, and her track record speaks for itself. Looking over the last 5 seasons, just look at how they have dominated the SEC. 2019, 16-0, 2020, 14-2, 2021, 2022, 15-1, 22-23, 16-0. This year, another one, 16-0. That is an overall record of 77-3. Can you talk about total domination in the SEC? And then you just look at the overall career record. She's 574 and 186 overall. Last season, not losing a game until that semifinal matchup with Iowa in the Final Four. You look at the record, 35-2. That's a lot of games. 235-plus win seasons back to back. 26-5 in 2021. I mean, just stacking years after years after years of success. And, she's been rewarded. She's a two-time national champion, 2017, 2022. They've made 5 Final Fours since she's been there. She's won the SEC tournament 7 times, including last year. She's got 8 regular season SEC championships, including this year's. She's a 3-time Nate Smith Coach of the Year. She's a 3-time WBCA National Coach of the Year, AP National Coach of the Year award winner, 3-time USBWA National Coach of the Year, 7-time SEC Coach of the Year, most recently this year. She also won it last year and the year before, winning this award 3 times. She was the USA Today Sports Network Coach of the Year last season, may win that award this year. And then you see some of her accolades and when she was at Temple as well, winning A10 Coach of the Year twice, and some regular season championships, which led to, her getting this job at South Carolina. But the accolades, man, I mean, we're talking about complete dominance of the SEC. And, I mean, respect to LSU, they won the Natty last year, but they didn't beat South Carolina, though. They did not beat those Gamecocks. And we're seeing Coach Don Staley become that coach, the standard. South Carolina has become the standard in women's college basketball when you're looking at building a program, graduating players, getting them to the next level, and just doing things the right way, playing the right way. Coach Don Staley has been so outspoken about her team when, it came out that some comments may have been made about them being called thugs and all types of names out of their names. Talking about criticizing really the way that South Carolina had been playing the last couple of years, calling their brand of basketball too physical. Are you kidding me? When they can't beat you, they gonna try to tear you down. But Coach Don Staley continues to shine. This program continues to shine. They have been a well-oiled machine. Asia Wilson just got a statue. Don Staley just got a statue. Like, this is a forever thing right here. We can easily see Coach Don Staley retiring at South Carolina. Not that that's coming anytime soon, but just saying. And then on top of that, she continues to bring in really great talent, and players want to stick around. We see Tahina Powell made the decision to come back for that 5th year, and I saw an interesting tweet that showed how the team could actually look next year, which is scary, not to get too far ahead. So this is under the assumption that Sarah Strong commits to South Carolina, the number 1 senior in the nation right now. So the potential starting lineup: Raven Johnson, Tahina Powell, Bree Hall. Then you have Chloe Kitts as well as Ashlyn Watkins there. Maybe Ashlyn Watkins at the 5 starter with Chloe Kitts. And then you still have Sanaya Feet. You could also start Ashlyn Watkins at the 5, have her and Chloe Kitts lined up side by side. And then, of course, you got Sanaya Fagan, who, has really blossomed this year, and whenever they've counted on her to step in, especially when she was starting for Camila Cardoso. Then you look at the bench. 6th player of the year lock would be Malaysia Full-Wiley, Tessa Johnson, a sharpshooter. Joyce Edwards, the number 2 player in the country coming in, can really do it all, super versatile. You got Maddie McDaniel, a very skilled and hard-nosed point guard that can really shoot the rock and can play make. And, with Tahina Powell getting, returning for her 5th year, Maddie McDaniel was mentioned, had the injury, has gotten season-ending surgery, and she may not be ready for the start of the year. So this gives her plenty of time to rehab the right way, not get rushed back, and get eased into this lineup. So that, it's a blessing and a curse. And then you got Sanaya Ja, Sakima Walker, and then we mentioned this would be if Sarah Strong is committing. But could you imagine a bench lineup of Malaysia Full-Wiley, Tessa Johnson, Joyce Edwards, Ja, and Strong, or Walker in there as well. Maybe Walker in there in that second start. And that basically will be a second starting lineup. But Sarah Strong, Joyce Edwards, Malaysia Wiley coming off the bench. Oh my gosh, you got the two top players in the nation, the top two seniors, soon to be rising freshmen in the nation, potentially coming off the bench. And I mean, we're talking about two all-American talents. Like, Joyce Edwards does it all. Just a real stat sheet stuffer. She does everything pretty well. And then you got Sarah Strong, who's very skilled forward as well in her own right. Interchangeable parts. Edwards can play down low. She can play on the wing. Strong can stretch the floor. She can get it off the dribble. You know what I'm saying? She really knows how to use her size down low on that block. And she can shoot the three. They're both very willing and intense defenders. They block shots. They crash the glass. You add Maddie McDaniel. You bring back Malaysia Wiley. Tessa Johnson has been playing more confident than ever in this lineup. I mean, it's just a nice blend of youth as well as upperclassmen playing their roles. And Tahina Powell coming back to just lead this group. I mean, next year they have that senior leadership. They have that veteran that's going to come in, settle the tone. And then, of course, you got Raven Johnson, who will be another year older, who was another one of those players we mentioned that waited her time at South Carolina and was rewarded. She came in as a 5-star recruit, the number 1 point guard in the nation in her class. And she waited her time, and now she's having a stellar season. And she's impacting games way more so than just scoring the basketball. She's leading this team in assists. She's grabbing all types of rebounds. She's saved them in games where she's just created extra possessions and just makes the right play every time down. So you keep that backcourt intact with a front court that has Chloe Kitts as well as Ashlyn Watkins, who will be in the running for National Player of the Year next year. Book it now. I'm booking it now. I mean, we are really going to see her take off. And no, we haven't gotten official word for Camila Cardoso if she's going to declare yet or not. But, I mean, I don't like to assume, but you can kind of assume here. And we are assuming, actually, because this is just a hypothetical roster. But, I mean, it's looking like it could be, almost pretty much that, if you really looking at it. Camila Cardoso, definitely her best basketball still ahead of her. But I mean, I just don't see a situation where she comes back, especially if they win the national title. Like, what else does she have left to prove? And she's going to be a top 5 pick in the WNBA draft. So it makes a lot of sense for her to go. But you still have you still have the best roster in the nation. And then, Watkins is going to take off next year. She's going to take off. I'm looking for her she's going to be a star this year, I think, in the SEC and NCAA tournaments. I think she's going to really, really break out, and she's going to be one of those players that becomes a household name. Wait on it. I'm calling it now. Y'all wait on it. We'll see, man, but big news for that. And then, the SEC tournament's coming up, and South Carolina will either play Mississippi State or Texas A&M, two teams that they have already smacked by 20+ this year. The last time they played. So it'll be interesting, but the Gamecocks have shifted into postseason mode now. They are in postseason mode, and it's time to lock in. It's time to focus because they're on a mission. I mean, they're already locked in. They're already focused. They don't need me to say it. They're on a mission, obviously, and this team is hungry. I know LSU, Iowa, Colorado, Stanford, some of these teams are definitely going to have something to say about it, but we'll see. We'll see, man. We'll see. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments, though. Coach Dawn Staley has fought through the criticism, has rose above the negativity that's been thrown her way, and she's running the class of the cream of the crop of college women's basketball programs right now. Got the celebrities coming out, got the returning players always coming out, you know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, the statue? Stop playing with Dawn. Stop playing with her. Man, y'all holler at me in the comments and let me know how y'all feel about this situation, though. And how far will the Gamecocks go? It's definitely national championship or bust. But y'all holler at me, man. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about the situation. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.